Hey, Moneymakers, welcome back to another episode of Taking Stock Live. I'm your host, Kalila, and it's my pleasure to be here with you yet another week, especially given the current weather conditions. We are on tropical storm watch here in Jamaica. They're saying the storm conditions could come around Thursday or Friday, so we are definitely paying very close attention to the weather. We are looking out, and it's been raining today. It rained pretty hard. There's images of flooding in various areas of the city. I'm not sure about the rest of Jamaica, but here in Kingston, we had quite a downpour this afternoon. So we are keeping an eye out. For those of you abroad, make sure you check in with your loved ones back home, and hopefully everything is, we're handling things, we're preparing just in case. Because as of now, we don't know what the storm is doing. Melissa, is it even named yet? Last I checked, it was about to be named Tropical Storm Melissa. And so we're expecting some bad weather Thursday into Friday. It seems like we are in that band that will be somehow affected. Maybe a lot, maybe a little. Hopefully just a little, but we'll see. We have to be prepared either way. Well, tonight we are talking about a couple of things, because it's been a few weeks now since Jamaica and several other countries around the world suspended exports of small parcels to the United States. Now, there are several small businesses locally that depend on this. This is their primary business. They ship things to the United States, whether it is local produce, whether it is stuff that they manufacture themselves. And since this shutdown, they have been severely affected. So we're going to be talking about that. And then later on in the show, we'll talk about pensions with our analyst for this week. But first, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and tell a friend that Taking Stock is on and live. And of course, let us know in the comments what part of Jamaica or what part of the world you are joining us from. Subscribe to the newsletter at getmoneynews.com. Now, come on, let's get this money. On this episode of Taking Stock, it's been almost 2 months since Jamaica suspended all small parcel exports to the U.S. How has this impacted small business, and what progress has been made so far? We'll discuss. Plus, the analysts weigh in on the latest market developments. What should we expect from Jamaica's economy in 2026? We'll discuss.
But first, here's What's Hot, brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
Microfinancing firm Dollar Financial is looking to raise $1 billion through its latest bond. The bond is being offered in 2 tranches valued at $500 million each. The first tranche has a dividend payout interest rate of 11% and matures in 3 years. Tranche 2 matures in 5 years and has a 12% interest rate. The minimum subscription is 20,000 Jamaican dollars, followed by increments of $10,000. Dollar says it plans to use the funds to repay $570 million of debt and grow its loan portfolio. The offer opens on October 23 and is scheduled to close on November 13. The Port Authority of Jamaica says it's considering opening a new port in St. Thomas. According to the PAJ, the port would be part of a push to make Jamaica the go-to supplier of construction materials across the Caribbean. The PAJ singled out the influx of infrastructure projects in Guyana as a major opportunity. The agency said St. Thomas is one of the proposed sites for a new port because of its proximity to limestone and cement plants. Meanwhile, the government of Guyana has signed a $156 million loan agreement with the World Bank to boost its infrastructure development projects. Guyanese officials said the funds will go towards improving the country's transport network. The upgrades and road rehabilitation are the first step in strengthening infrastructure in regions of the country that are prone to natural disasters. The country also said that an improved transportation network will improve productivity and strengthen the economy. More than 1,000 websites and services went offline for several hours on Monday following a global internet outage. The issue reportedly stemmed from a problem with Amazon Web Services. The outage, which started about 2 a.m., affected users of sites ranging from Snapchat to Amazon's Ring doorbell cameras to gaming platforms Roblox and Fortnite. Amazon said the problem was resolved by Monday evening. In 2024, a glitch in CrowdStrike's software caused the largest ever IT outage, resulting in $5 billion in direct business losses.
What's Hot was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
The Money Mission Workbook is now available for sale on the 7 Crave Marketplace for delivery island-wide. Order your copy now at 7cravemarketplace.com or moneymissionja.com or download the 7 Crave app. You'll get same day or next day delivery in Kingston or delivery within 2 to 3 business days island-wide. Let's get this money.
Welcome back. So I just checked, and yes, Melissa is indeed officially a tropical storm, and the weather forecast, the weather experts are predicting that it could strengthen to hurricane strength around Saturday, and hopefully by the time that happens, it already passed Jamaica because it's forecast to pass us around Thursday into Friday. So, but either way, you know how these things develop very quickly. We saw Hurricane Beryl last year rapidly developing from a storm to a category 5 in like one day. It might have been 2 days max. So anything can happen. We know how these systems go. We just have to stay prepared and vigilant this side of the world. Let me see who we have online. Bigging up Chairman, saying greetings massive, and he's tuning in from Mobay. Where we go? Where's my comments? Here we go. Tuning in from Mobay. We also have Supervillain in the grill. Kish saying hello, everyone. Kemdem is in Mandeville. Dwight is in the house. We have Chris saying good night from Connecticut. Travis is checking in from Nantucket. Ingrid is checking in from Bull Bay, St. Andrew. Kish telling us, yeah, Melissa is now officially a storm. Jennifer bringing greetings from St. Catherine. Antoinette says, Black River in the house. Let's get this money. Humble Boss checking in from the grill. We've got Damien in Portmore, Kish in London, D. Duncan representing the Bronx, Earl is in Helsha, Lavaine is in hot Mobay. You know what that extra heat means? It's gonna rain. Horace is in the house. We have Kamisha in St. Anne, Taki in St. Mary, and User in Spanish Town, Sleepwalker also in St. Anne. Let's introduce our guest for the evening, and his name is Barrington McIntosh. He's an Amazon business consultant. Like I mentioned in the intro, it's been a few weeks now since Jamaica and other countries have suspended all small parcel exports to the United States. And this topic hasn't actually gotten a lot of attention, but it does impact a lot of people. So let's welcome Barrington McIntosh to the show. Hi, Barrington.
Hey, Kalila. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Now, Barrington, I have known you for a few years now. I know you as the Amazon guy, but introduce yourself to our viewers. Tell them a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm Barrington McIntosh. We've been doing Amazon for the last 15 years, e-commerce in general. And actually, right now, Kalila, I am overseas, hoping to come home this week with this storm, just because of this whole issue with not being able to export, not being able to use, the post office, and looking at options that we can get here on the ground in the US. So that's what's been happening. It's been a hectic time, but we have to pivot. We have to figure out how to continue doing our e-commerce.
You were just at Amazon headquarters
Yesterday. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what was that discussion like?
Yesterday.
Did it have anything to do with this small parcel issue?
Not really. They're just talking about the volumes for the next 2 months. So even though, we have the hiccup with not being able to ship small parcels using the post office, looking at their volumes, their projection for the next 2 months, you are seeing that this is no playtime. The volumes are going to be extreme. So you must have products in their fulfillment centers or being able to have it to ship to customers. So despite what's going on, the demand is just through the roof.
Yeah, because we're heading into the busy Christmas period now, which is when the sales really, most vendors rely on this period to make their annual numbers.
They'll let you know that between October 15th, you need to get all of your items into their fulfillment centers, because starting with that whole Thanksgiving holiday, and then you have Black Friday and you have Cyber Monday, that's when the sales go through the roof. So typically you make 80% of your profits in the next 60 days. So it is critical to have items, whether at their fulfillment centers, at a prep center in the US, so that you can take advantage of the big spike that's going to happen in the next 60 days. It's going to be ridiculous.
All right. So walk us through what is happening now.
So since August 29th, based on what's been happening, you are not able to ship small parcels using the post office. And a lot of businesses, small businesses, depended on that. That was like 80%. I was just looking at an article where the UPU, Universal Postal Union, they are actually working on a software to complement CDS that will enable you to be able to go in and ship and collect the tariff. But because that's not implemented as yet, all of these businesses are crippled. They're not able to ship anything out. And you have options. You do have DHL, you do have FedEx, but you have to work your numbers, because you have to ensure that when you use them, you are going to be able to pay that 10%, pay DHL, as well as being able to be profitable, which is a heavy juggle during this time. I mean, we use DHL. We've been using them for the past 10 years. They're absolutely amazing. But you have to crunch the numbers, because it doesn't make any sense to just make a sale and no profit. You have to ensure that when you're shipping out, you're putting that 10% on, you're doing the markups, you're doing everything, because otherwise you just be spinning your wheel. So the big thing now is to get inventory that's already here in the US on the ground. You can purchase that inventory. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but you can continue with your business because you have the inventory on the ground. So volumes have been down about 80%. Can you imagine? 80% volumes being down because no post office. 80% down.
What type of products are we talking about? Like, what types of things do Jamaicans ship to the US for sale?
A lot of grocery items, a lot of hair products, all different kind of things that can be manufactured locally, all of your artisan products, everything that, it was prohibitive to use a bigger carrier, but you could go to the post office and you could mail that off. A lot of items, especially you're talking the grocery, you're talking about your health and beauty, a lot of those are just off the radar. So if you cannot figure out how to get those on the ground, you have persons who would come into Jamaica, consolidate a big 40-foot container, bring them out to Miami. You now have to figure out, how do I tap into this inventory that's already on the ground, already cleared, already paid the tariffs? And a lot of times, if you just go and make a shipment, when the shipment gets into the US and they alert that customer to say, hey, you have a tariff of $42, the customer will say, we're going to refuse that. Send it back to Jamaica. I don't want it. So in order to make the business continue, you're either going to have to just go on and pay that tariff, suck it up. So you have to crunch your numbers and make sure it's working out for you. Otherwise, you will need to start purchasing inventory on the ground in the US.
So you're looking at your spice bun, your patties, your porridge, your seasonings, things that you can find easily in the supermarket here, not so easily over there.
Yes, and all of those items are, like, the demand is through the roof for those items right now. I'm not sure if it's because it's more difficult to get them, but the demand is through the roof. And just leaving Amazon's headquarters yesterday, looking at items that are just flying, items that are flying. Your Jamaican products are on the line. Your Jamaican products are on the line. So if you don't have them or you have no way of getting them there, you're just going to lose out for this whole Q4. And the key thing is you can do that right now, but you have to connect with suppliers who are on the ground. Miami, Atlanta, New York, connect with a prep center who can procure those items for you, get them together and send them into your Amazon account, fill your eBay order, your Walmart order. That is what you have to do. It's just about pivoting real quick, just like COVID.
So I know, Barrington, you represent a lot of those small vendors who have set up their online store on Amazon, and they basically act as a go-between between somebody in the US who wants an item, and they're the ones on the ground in Jamaica who will go to the supermarket, buy these items, and then ship them off to the States. But does this also affect larger business, or is it just small businesses affected?
I think it's a bit of both, because you have the small businesses who exclusively use, they use the post office, but you have larger companies who are still looking for viable options. Like, okay, how are we going to get it shipped out now? Maybe that 10% was their margin, and now that 10% is gone because of the tariff. So they have to figure out, okay, what do we do? Do we consolidate a shipment? Do we talk to someone who comes into the island and purchases and fills a 40-foot container, get some pallet space on there and put our items on there? So it affects both large businesses and small businesses. So nobody is immune to what's happening right now.
So what are the solutions that they're coming up with? Are they just charging the customers extra? They just mark up the prices at the onset?
And that's an excellent question. The customers here in the US, I sell a lot of coffee. And customers, we have to incrementally, increase the price, but the customers are okay with it. They understand what is going on, because all that's happening is with the tariff and everything, they want the manufacturing to be done in the United States. So the customers know the prices are going to increase. But especially with Amazon, you can't just put $10 on a product. You have to take it up $1, $2, $3. But customers are prepared. They're still paying. The demand is still there. They want their products. Listen, when you have those Jamaican products that you really want, like sorrel, and you need it for the holidays, you're going to spend that extra because you want the product. You can't get it anywhere else.
I see a few comments online. Basilio says all Jamaican product prices here in the US have already doubled in the past year. And then we have Aberdeen, who says we've had to increase our prices by about 30% as the customers don't want to pay the tariffs. This affects sales volume.
Yep. So your volume is not going to be as it was last year, but you still have to increase the prices, because when you go out, and a lot of things in Jamaica are now increasing, prices are increasing. So it's really a juggling act. I think some people have just been like, you know what, I'm just forget about it. I can't do this anymore. I have to go do something else. But we've been in this e-commerce game for the past 15 years. So we have to figure out, what do we do? People have to eat. That's why we love groceries. That's why we stick to the grocery category, because people have to eat. They want the bun and cheese. They need the curry. They need the oxtail sauce. They have to eat. So we just have to figure out, how do we get it there, or how do we purchase from within the US and then have those products sent into Amazon or being fulfilled by our prep center.
Sleepwalker wants to know, is this a short-term issue because of volume or demand, or is this looking to span a longer time frame?
Well, they are working on a solution right now. So the biggest thing is Sleepwalker. The biggest thing is the post office doesn't want to have a scenario where they have shipped a product into Miami. The administration says, okay, you owe us $1 million in tariff. They don't know how to collect it from the customer. So what is happening now is that they're creating a software that's going to automate that process at the post office. So you'll know exactly, oh, you're shipping 10 pounds of coffee, then this is going to be the tariff that's required. You pay that upfront, your shipment goes right through. So until that is in place, your cheap shipping options are out the door. So you have to figure out, do I go and ship a pallet, or do I purchase from someone who is already bringing the products in and it's already cleared customs and in the United States, and I can make the purchase there? So it's just something that we just have to watch and see how things are developing moving forward.
Have you gotten any timelines as to how soon that solution might become available?
The actual software is up and running now, but so remember, this is not just a Jamaica thing. This is postal services all over the world. The ones who have the actual, software and they can implement it real fast, I think they are up and running. It's just others who know they don't have the infrastructure. They need to set up a whole lot more things to make this happen. Those are the ones who are slow to adapt. And that is hurting that economy, because if your software was up and running, you would be shipping using the post office. And trust me, post office shipping is like one of the best kept secrets in Jamaica. You can go and ship something to somebody for 750 Jamaican dollars. It gets there in 3 weeks, but it's going to get there. That's the beauty about using the post office. So because that's off the books right now, you have to be pivoting. You have to figure out, how am I going to get this product to my customer? And if I use a service like DHL or FedEx, they get there fast, but I'm going to be hit with that 10% real fast. And they're going to, because sometimes the customer will decline the product. They say, listen, I don't want to pay the tariff. Send it back to Jamaica. We can't afford that. We have to pay the tariffs for them.
Because when you use DHL or FedEx, right, you still have to pay the duty. So you're paying a premium on your export cost, on your shipping cost, plus you still have to pay that additional duty.
Yes, because if your customer refuses, that is going to be returned to you. And that is worse than just not shipping it at all. Because you're talking about going to Miami, they alerting the customer to say, hey, we have a package here for you, but you have to pay $27 in tariffs. They're going to be like, no, I'm not paying any more money. Send it back. So if they send that back, you just lost that money that you paid to DHL to ship it out. So normally we just insert our email address. They'll alert us, hey, there's a duty to be paid. We hit go ahead, make the payment online, and that will just go right to the customer.
I'm curious to hear your opinions on the tariffs to begin with, Barrington, because you've been in this industry, like you mentioned, for a long time. President Trump, this is the impact of President Trump's policies. First, just explain what this tariff situation is, what the de minimis tax is, how that came about, and then I'm curious to hear your opinions on what was done.
Well, before this, the de minimis rule said any package that is $800 or under would not, there's no taxes. So you would, if the value is $800 or under, you would just send that into Miami, it's processed, and it heads to your customer. Now, with the new system, what they're saying is it doesn't matter what the price is. I think they were saying $100 or below, but trust me, we've sent items that are under $100 and it still, flags us to pay that 10%. And what happens is the whole idea is they're trying to have manufacturing done in the United States, which, I mean, you're not going to be able to have everything manufactured in the United States, but that's the big push. They want to have manufacturers. So for me, let's say I was doing something in Jamaica. I was doing some shirts in Jamaica and I was sending it from Jamaica into the United States. Now I'm going to be hit with that big 10% and it doesn't make any sense. What I would have to do is to contact, let's say, someone who does the same thing in Miami, get the raw materials here, or having them, bring the raw materials in, and then have the same shirt that I was making in Jamaica being made here. So what is happening now, a lot of manufacturers are actually moving some of their business to the United States and say, okay, it is now made in the USA. And that's the big thing that's happening. I mean, it's just something that we just have to work with.
So for Jamaican companies, Jamaican exporters, it's only 10%? Because I remember hearing some much, much bigger numbers when this was all being announced.
10% for Jamaica. Other countries have different numbers. China has 100%, 40%, 30%. But for Jamaica, it's 10%. And this is something that we have been doing since August 29th. So we pay that weekly. So if I have a shipment of coffee and it's coming out, coming in for $8,000, you're going to pay $800 on that shipment, because you're going to be flagged and that's going to be sent to you. But it's just something that you have to work with. You have to figure out, can I manufacture locally, with somebody in the US? Does it make more sense to do that? Those are some of the things that you have to consider. If I was doing private label from China and I was shipping it directly to Amazon, that's going to attract 100% duty. I don't know if I can pay that and still make money. I might have to send it to Jamaica and then try sending it in from there. There's just a lot of considerations. But it is what it is right now, and we just have to work with it the best we can.
Ja M876 wants to know, what are your thoughts on pivoting to other countries?
Excellent question. That is an excellent question. So what have we done? We have been selling coffee, as I mentioned, for the past 14 to 15 years in the US. We've been selling in the UK as well. But now, or what we do is we send our shipments to the UK. We send a lot more shipments to the UK now, because of that, because there's no tariffs. You go straight in and DHL will get our shipments in there within 48 hours. Our shipments are there. So we are looking at other options. There are a lot more Amazon platforms, because if you sell on Amazon, you get Amazon.com, Amazon Mexico, Amazon Canada. Suppose you can figure out something that's really good to sell in Canada. Focus on that area. Suppose you can figure out something really good to sell in Amazon UK. Focus it on Amazon UK. So that's what we have been doing. And the good thing about Amazon UK is that once it's there, you now open up the European market. So Germans buy, people from Spain, France, Italy, a lot of different sales happen. And that's what we have been doing and teaching our students to do. There has to be something that you can pivot. Amazon is global, Walmart is global. You just need to look at, okay, what are my options now?
So finally, Barrington, we know that there are opportunities in every situation. What new business opportunities does this potentially create?
Excellent question. The opportunities are looking at other marketplaces, looking at other areas. So we do eBay. So now we've been looking at ebay.co.uk. That's a totally different game. We're doing Amazon Europe, and we're looking at, okay, what other Amazon countries can we send from Jamaica directly into that doesn't have all of this tariff going on and things like that. And also our next step is for the US, how can I find a prep center? So we've been using Timber House, Jamaica, and they are doing an excellent job. They handle all of our shipments. We send everything to them, or we ask them to buy stuff for us on the ground and send it into Amazon. So our business continues despite what's happening with the tariff, despite what's happening with everything else. So we just have to look at what are the opportunities throughout all of this.
So, and just before I let you go, Barrington, let me give you an opportunity to let the people know how they can reach you, because you do training on how to sell on these platforms.
Yes. BarringtonMacintosh.com, the easiest way to reach me. Join our newsletter there. Once you're logged in, we have different packages tailored to, let's say someone has a small business and they're struggling. Barrington, how can I get this out? So if the website is www.barringtonmacintosh.com. Once you join there, you can send us an email. We send out newsletters from time to time, updating you on what's going on. If you want personalized help, like, okay, I need to figure this out, we can sort that out from there. So the best way to reach me is barringtonmacintosh.com.
You know what? I need to take your course because I now have my book that's selling on Amazon. So I'm now an Amazon seller as well. I need to take your course and figure out how to make some more money off the platform. Thanks so much, Barrington.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's Barrington McIntosh. He's an Amazon sales consultant. It's time now for tonight's poll question. And we've been talking about it here on this show for weeks, and it's still going on. I want to know, for those of you, especially in the corporate area of Jamaica, how have the ongoing roadworks impacted you? How have the ongoing roadworks impacted you? A, it's ruining my life. B, it hasn't affected me at all. Lucky you. C, it's inconvenient, but not that big a deal. Or other, leave a comment. For those of you who live in the corporate area, Kingston and St. Andrew in particular, how have the ongoing roadworks impacted you? A, it's ruining my life. B, it hasn't affected me at all. C, it's inconvenient, but not that big a deal. Or other, leave a comment and let us know, how have the ongoing roadworks all over the place at the same time, road closures, how have those impacted you? You can take that poll over on Twitter, aka X, or here on YouTube, or in tomorrow morning's email, or you can just leave your comment in the chat and let us know, how have the ongoing roadworks in the corporate area impacted you? Up next, we've got your market recap, and our analyst is standing by. Time now for your market recap, brought to you by MyMoneyJA.com, the official data partner of Money Media. Get 10% off your subscription with the code MONEYMISSION. The JSE Combined Index was mostly flat last week. 127 stocks traded across the main and junior markets for the week ending Friday, October 17, 2025. 53 made gains, 56 lost value, and 18 stayed the same. 90 million shares changed hands on the Jamaican dollar market, valued at $401 million. One-on-One was the week's most traded stock, with 10 million shares changing hands. It started the week at 86 cents. Wigton was down about 2% to start Monday at $1.19, and TransJam rounded out last week's most traded stocks, up 3%. Now let's see who had the biggest gains. Paramount Trading soared 71% after its Q1 results revealed $55 million in net profits. The stock opened the week at $1.28. 138 Student Living Variable Preference was the second biggest gainer, up almost 20%, and JFP rounded out the top stocks, up 18%. On the losing side now, Pulse lost almost 18% to start the new week at $1.02. Kintyre Holdings fell 14% to open Monday at 30 cents, and Cargo Handlers also lost 14%. Over on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, the composite index lost 14 points last week. That's about 1%. CIBC Caribbean Bank was the TTSE's most traded stock. It opened Monday at $8.25 TT. Prestige was the TTSE's top gainer, up 8.5%. And on the losing side, AS Bryden fell 17% to open Monday at $2.25 TT. Over in the U.S., the Dow Jones and S&P 500 were both up about 1% last week, while the Nasdaq only gained about 0.5%. At the pumps, the cost of 87 gas fell $2.19 last week, while 90 fell $2.50. Meanwhile, diesel lost $1.04 and low sulfur dropped $1.42. In foreign exchange trading, it took an average $161.10 Jamaican to purchase $1 US last Friday. That's 52 cents less than the week before. $1 Canadian cost an average $116.42 Jamaican. $1 British pound cost $218.49 Jamaican, and you could buy €1 for $191.86 Jamaican on average. Finally, on the crypto markets, Bitcoin prices fell 4% last week, trading at $110,630 on Monday. Meanwhile, Ethereum prices dipped 6%, trading at $3,980 on Monday. Market Recap was brought to you by MyMoneyJA, the official data partner of Money Media.
Subscribe to my newsletter for money news like this straight to your inbox. Go to getmoneynews.com to sign up. The link is in my bio. Let's get this money.
This segment of Taking Stock, The Analyst, is brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
The views expressed in this segment are not necessarily the views of Money Media. This information is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Welcome back. Let's see your answers to our poll question. The question once again was, how have ongoing roadworks in the corporate area impacted you? Your options were A, it's ruining my life, B, it hasn't affected me at all, C, it's inconvenient but not a big deal, or D, other. Leave a comment. So we have Raquel says, A, it's ruining my life. Sleepwalker says, I travel occasionally there, so C, it's inconvenient but not a big deal. Tasha says B, because I work from home, so it hasn't affected her at all. Good for you. Ryan says the roadworks depends on where you live. Potholes are mashing up my car, and that's always an issue, roadwork or not. Raquel says it creates traffic, car making noise. Oren shouting out the TJH Army. Shell says, with all these roadworks Kalila keeps mentioning, sounds like I might come to Jamaica and get lost or not recognized anywhere. It's a very good possibility that that will happen to you, Shells. Chairman says B, doesn't affect him. Learn, Grow, Invest says E, I guess that's other. And we have a couple of shout outs for the TJH Army. Chairman saying TJH Army rep. Oren shouting out, jumping on that train and wanting to know if it's today or tomorrow. They're going to make us smile with that dividend. Apparently it's on Friday. TJH Army in the house as usual. All right, it's now time for our analyst segment. And joining us tonight is Fund Sales and Service Manager at JMMB, Tanika Lawrence. Welcome, Tanika.
Hi, Kalila. Good night, everyone.
All right, so tonight we're talking about retirement planning again, and we've talked about this topic a couple of times this year. But for those who may have missed our previous conversations, what are some of the benefits of retirement planning?
All right, so we're reminding you to plan for your retirement because of these main benefits. One, it guarantees you income when you stop working. It allows you to hedge against the inflation rate favorably. And if you're listening to Barrington's presentation earlier, where he's talking about the increase in goods and services, investing in a retirement fund is one way to protect your money against the inflation rate. It also gives you the tax-free advantages. So if you start early, you can customize your plan, contribute from your salary, and benefit from tax-free contributions and tax-free interest earnings.
Oh, okay. So we're not just looking at pension planning for yourself and for when you retire, but we're also looking at possibly investing in retirement plans, you said.
Yes, it is an investment account. So approved retirement plans, they're invested based on your risk appetite. So you can customize. Usually in terms of customizing your retirement plan, you start off more aggressive when you're younger because you're encouraged to take more risk with your investment, put more of your money in stocks so you can benefit from the uptick, the long-term gains on stocks and the uptick in the equities market over the long term. When you're closer to retirement, you can be a little bit more conservative by investing in bonds, but your approved retirement plan is a managed portfolio. So you can choose to customize it, but it's also one of those plans that you have the expertise of the investment managers on your side.
Now, for individuals, it's a no-brainer. Like, obviously, if you have the opportunity to invest in a retirement plan, do so because you're protecting your future self. But for companies, what is the benefit of offering this package to employees? Because it does come at a cost to you as a company.
So there are two types of pension plans that are offered by companies. There's a superannuation plan that does come at an expense to the company because you're setting up your own fund based on your trust deed and rules and your own board of trustees. There's also the corporate retirement account, which comes at no expense to the company. And any member of the company that's eligible, the company can decide on what eligibility requirements would apply, but it comes at no expense and it encourages the employees of that company to contribute on that single pension account. It
So
also gives them the tax-free advantage,
for the employees.
the employees as well as the company. So if the
Oh,
employer decides to contribute, they also benefit from the tax exemption on contributions.
I see. So how does a company set up their pension plan? Like, what are the steps involved?
All right, so it's pretty simple. It requires the company's certificate of incorporation, the business TRN, completion of the client information form, and assign signatories to the account. Once the company establishes that corporate retirement plan, any member of the company can enroll very easy as well. So they wouldn't have to provide all the know your client documents that an individual member would have to complete because the company plan would have already taken care of most of that heavy lifting and also facilitate the salary deduction, which is where employees get that initial tax-free benefit. They get it from the salary deduction. So the contributions come from your salary before taxes to your income. So you're benefiting. That's one of the most important benefits of investing in an approved pension arrangement.
And how do the employees now ensure that they take advantage of this?
So employees can contribute up to a maximum of 20% of your gross annual income. And once you're in a company that offers this pension plan, it's pretty easy to just speak to your HR representative or your assigned officer, your assigned financial advisor on how to enroll in the company plan and start doing the deductions based on your contribution rate. So it's pretty easy. And if you have that available to you under a company, meaning your company would have put that in place for its employees, take advantage of it because you also benefit from the employer's portion as well.
We have a comment, Tanika, that I want you to respond to. This comment comes from Shells, who says, but the money is lost when the employee changes jobs. Most time it's hell to get back your money or get it transferred.
All right. So once you're in an approved pension arrangement, you're entitled to that benefit. Even if you change jobs, that money still belongs to you. So you can reach out to the administrator of your plan. So you would normally know who the administrator is based on your statements or based on the presentations that would have been done. You can reach out to the administrator to have those benefits either transferred to another approved pension arrangement, or if you are eligible, you can purchase a deferred retirement benefit or a deferred annuity. Or if you're at retirement age, you can always purchase an annuity through an insurance company, but you're entitled to that benefit.
Okay, I think I saw another comment here. Yes, Travis wants to know what retirement plan is there for persons who are working overseas who want to start their own plan?
All right, so if you're working overseas, but you are a Jamaican resident, meaning that you are not a resident of another country, you're still considered to be a Jamaican resident, you can open your own individual retirement account. However, if you live and work overseas, then you may not be eligible to join an approved pension plan in Jamaica because it's ideally set up for residents. However, you can open a retirement supplement account. And with the retirement supplement account, you can decide on, of course, your allocation, your asset allocation, your contribution rate, and you still get tax-free benefits as well on contributions.
Okay, that's good to know. So how does a company, sorry, I asked that already. What are some other available tools to support employees in reaching their retirement goals?
So if you're not sure what that goal is, you can use the retirement calculator. Very easy to use again, and it's accessible to everyone online. And I'm going to share my screen just to show you quickly what that looks like for you. Let me just share screen and show you quickly what it looks like in terms of your online calculator. Now, if you are younger or older, it doesn't matter, because this calculator factors in not just your retirement account, but your supplement as well. So you can always put in your age, put in your contribution amount, your salary information, how much you're contributing. Also, you set your goal here as well in terms of what percentage you want to contribute, or you want to, the target that you're trying to reach based on your contributions, to get the ideal retirement benefit for you. And remember, retirement planning is not a one size shoe fits all. It varies person to person based on what your specific goal is. So you can adjust your rate accordingly based on, of course, the returns of your portfolio. Set it against inflation rate as well. And inflation rate right now is how you track the progress of your pension plan. And especially right now, with inflation being at a record low, it is a good time to start investing long term. Take advantage of that to see true benefit of your retirement account. Now, once you put in your variables here in terms of what your goal is, the calculator tells you how much money you will actually have based on your interest earnings in your portfolio, and how much you will need based on the goal that you would have set for yourself. And if you were to purchase an annuity with that balance, which is your monthly pension, it tells you what that's projected to be as well in terms of an annual pension and a monthly income, and a monthly income from your portfolio. And if there's a shortfall, the calculator also tells you what that shortfall is as well and how you can close that gap. So for instance, if you were contributing, say, an amount that didn't meet your retirement goal and you have a shortfall, the calculator will tell you that, all right, if you contribute an additional amount of 41,500 per month, then that will close the gap in your retirement plan and allow you to hit your retirement goal.
How do people access this tool?
So you can go online to JMMB's hellofuture.jmmb.com and click on the retirement calculator, and it takes you directly here.
hellofuture.jmmb.com. Pretty easy to remember. All right, finally, Tanika, before I let you go, what are some of your final tips for retirement planning?
All right, so in terms of final tips, one, look at your income sources. Very important to identify what those sources are going to be when you retire as well, and try to boost them now as much as possible. Maximize your contributions up to the 20% to take full advantage of the tax-free benefits. You should also be looking at debt consolidation as well to reduce your interest rate payments. That's an important factor. Sometimes it often gets overlooked in terms of how much you can save through a debt consolidation in terms of loan payments. If you don't have an emergency plan in place already, very important that you set up an emergency plan. Your retirement account is not an emergency plan. It's usually locked in for retirement, because remember, it is for long-term investing. So you can't just run in and pull that money whenever you have an emergency. To ensure that you have an emergency fund set up for those anything that might come up that requires you to pull a lump sum, right? So you can set up an emergency fund through our bonus saver account as well, which is a good option for emergency fund savings. And also have sufficient insurance coverage, especially if you're close to your retirement age or getting there. Ensure that your insurance coverage is sufficient. All right. And again, and I'm going to stress on this one, maximize your contributions as much as possible to take full advantage of your tax-free benefit and to allow you to beat the inflation rate, so that when we get to retirement age, we can live comfortably and be able to combat those hiking any prices in goods and services.
Last question comes from Michelle Carpenter, who wants to know, what about public sector workers who are already a part of a pension scheme that is below the 20% cap?
That's a good question, Michelle. So if you're already a part of an approved retirement plan with your company, that's awesome. You're already done with the first tier. So you have 3 tiers to your income sources at retirement. You have your NIS benefit, your company pension plan, and your other investments. So if you already have the first 2 down, it's now time to take a deep look at your other investments. And with your other investments, I always recommend that you look for investment. If you're buying in stocks, look for stocks that are dividend paying, or look for bonds that are high yielding long term, or look for investments that also give you tax-free advantages over the long run. But now is the point where you start looking at building out that 3rd tier in your pension plan, which is your other investments.
All right. Thank you so much, Tanika, for those tips. Much appreciated.
My pleasure, Kalila. Good night, everyone. Bye.
We'll take our final break and come back with your comments.
This segment of Taking Stock, The Analysts, was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
Beg you a favor now? If you've purchased the Money Mission workbook and you've read it already, you've done the exercises and you find it valuable, please leave me a review so that other people can know how valuable this little workbook is. Go to the link in my bio to leave a review. Thank you.
Welcome back. Let's take a few comments in the chat. Enboro Lee says, terrible traffic in Ligani. It has been insane. Was anybody caught in it on Friday? Heading into Heroes Weekend? Standstill. It was crazy. One something says, I hope they fix that issue on Marcus Garvey that keeps flooding. Yep, I heard Marcus Garvey was flooded out today again. Yadi wanted to know, when will TJH start charging for the mandible leg? Good question. I think they said October, but look like I'll know. I don't know, and we're close to the end of October now. Roswell wanted to know, how much does a pension plan pay over a timeline of 30 years? I didn't see this question in time to ask. Who am I? It says, my plan is to roll over half of my 401k into CD, and then just collect that 4.8% yearly return as monthly income. And then Shells says, I think credit card is best for emergency fund. I refuse to keep any amount over $5,000 in a non-investment account. The interest is not worth it. All right, we have different takes from different folks this evening on how they plan to manage retirement as well as that sort of thing. Let me see. All right, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that for tonight. You guys can read the rest of the comments in the chat for yourself. Of course, make sure that you head on over to moneymissionja.com to pick up your copy of the Money Mission workbook. You can order on Amazon for delivery globally, order on 7 Crave Marketplace for delivery here in Jamaica island-wide, or pick up your copy at select Fontana Pharmacy locations. All the links are at moneymissionja.com. Subscribe to the newsletter at getmoneynews.com, What else do we have for you today? We have a few features coming up as well, especially on real estate in Jamaica. So look out for that. And once you're subscribed to the newsletter, you get those alerts when those new features are dropping. What else? What else do I have to tell you? Any other major announcements? I don't think so. Oh, yes, I do have one. So I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be one of the main speakers at the Pioneering Greatness Conference on November 1 at the AC Hotel. Let me find that website. We spoke to the team from Pioneering Greatness recently. Pioneering Greatness, is it .com? Yes, it is. pioneeringgreatness.com to get your tickets. I'm going to be one of the main speakers at that event on November 1. I do have some giveaways, so make sure that you follow me on social media at kalila.money. I do have some tickets to give away. If you are one of the lucky winners, grateful to see you there. If you are not, buy your ticket and come out to Pioneering Greatness on November 1. Also in November, I am going to be hosting the Tariffs conference. So for those of you who particularly live abroad but are interested in investing back home, especially in real estate, the Tariffs conference in November is a must-do. You get access to all of the players, all the movers and shakers, and to help you figure out how do you make those investments back home. So two big events coming up in November. That's going to do it for me this week. And this week, is it this week or next week? I'm also going to be speaking at either UE or UTech. It's this week, Thursday. This week, Thursday at UE, I'm going to be doing the UE Networking Forum. So for those of you who are students and watching, come through to the UE Networking Forum on Thursday as well. See you there. And thank you so much. 6th anniversary. Yes, our 6th anniversary is coming up on October 29th. The next week, Taking Stock will be 6. Can you believe we started this show on October 29th, 2019, pre-COVID, and we are still here 6 years later. Thanks for remembering, Raquel. Raquel is such a super fan. I love it. All right. Thank you for joining us yet another week. Thank you to our hardworking production team, the ladies, Sachelle Williams, Israel Ramsey, Alexa Roberts, Dejanay McKenzie. We are an all-female team, guys. All-female team. And we have some guys who are part of our team as well who join us from time to time. But the full-time crew is an all-woman team, and we just realized that. So I think that's pretty awesome. Big up you, big up the Money Media team, and I'm going to see you guys again next week. I'm Kalila. Until then, remember, investing is the new sexy, so let's make it cool to talk about money. See you next week.